just wanted to talk to you today a little bit about what happened to me when I went to Russia. Just to give you a bit of background, I went with my church, Hatfield Christian Church. We didn't have translators all the time. There were various churches that we visited, and our main head pastor that led the group, he would encourage us to lay hands on people that came up after the service. We would lay hands on them and pray for them, and then basically, because we couldn't speak Russian, we experienced that God really moved amazingly. So then once we were over there, at the first meeting where things started happening, I laid my hands on this Russian lady. I couldn't speak a word of Russian, she couldn't speak a word of English. And I prayed for her, and nothing mysterious happened or out of the ordinary. And but afterwards, one of the translators came over to me and said when I prayed for her, it felt like warm oil was pouring down over her shoulders, and she just heard the words, "I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you." And her background, which she felt was, because she started crying when I was laying my hands on her and praying. And turns out that this woman had been a mistress or a brothel keeper, and she felt, so she'd given her life to the Lord and given up that kind of business. And she felt that that was something that the Lord would never forgive her for. So that was the first amazing thing. And there was another situation where we were in another church, and after the service this old lady came forward, and again I didn't have a translator, but as I was praying for her I felt these emotions welling up in me for this lady, of such tenderness and love and compassion, that I just started weeping. And I knew the emotions weren't coming from me because I didn't know this lady. Later, when I thought it through, I thought, well, that was the love of the Lord pouring out on this lady. But because I was crying so much while I was holding her in my arms, other people noticed, particularly older ladies. So what happened was, when I'd finished with that lady, the next thing, old ladies started making a beeline for me. And so as I would just put my hands on their shoulders, one after the other, these old ladies, I would just be about to hug them and put my arms on them and arms around them, when I would just touch them and they would fall over. So it was one, then the next one, then another one. Probably between 10 and 14 ladies this happened to. Luckily, there was a young pastor. He just happened to be standing behind these ladies, and the pastor was just holding his hands out and catching them. And as soon as he put one down on the floor and I moved on to the next one fell down on the floor. Well, I don't know who was more shocked, the pastor or me or the women, the people watching. You know, it was incredible. This power that was coming out of me wasn't coming from me. It was nothing that I was doing. It could only have been the Lord.